Hello there, Star Wars fans, and welcome back to another RebelScum.com video review. Today, we are reviewing the new Black Series number 14 in the Bad Batch, Mercenary Gear Hunter. Now, normally I would have just said Season 2 Hunter, but the Mercenary Gear look carried into Season 3, and their Season 3 gear hasn't really differed much from their Season 2 gear so far. And if you haven't been watching Season 3 of The Bad Batch, you are missing out. It is the best season yet. Very, very story-driven. A lot of really good action. And a lot of really cool clone reunification. Anyway, here is Ricka in his packaging. He's got that windowless packaging that nobody really liked. There is an image of the figure there on the front. On the side there, we've got that side profile artwork. On the back, you got another image of the figure, plus some words and things. On this side, you get an image of the figure as well as an image of the accessories next to him. And that's pretty much it for the packaging. And here is Wrecker out of the packaging in his mercenary gear. And just like with the other two, honestly, I gotta say, yeah, I dig the mercenary gear version more now that I've seen it in person. And it is such a cool figure. I didn't expect this to be as different from the original, much like I didn't with Hunter. And Tech had a good amount of differences, but his mold was the most similar to his previous release, whereas Hunter was very drastically different from his Season 1 counterpart, and Wrecker is also very different from his Season 1 counterpart. He still has the majority of his armor. He kept more of his armor than Hunter did, but he also saw a good notable amount of changes, like the extra layer of armor on his right pauldron here. He kept the other Bad Batch pauldron, but there's also like a little extra layer of padding underneath on each side than on the original release too. Those differences are there in the mold as well, which I really like. Same with his regular torso armor. He kept the upper part of it, and there is a layer of padding underneath. And that's not just like a layer of paint that they did. If you compare it to the original figure, which here he is, if you compare the padding side by side to the two of these, you'll notice there's that extra lip there underneath on the torso and the shoulder pads. So they didn't just copy and paste these two, even though they totally could have and gotten away with it, I think. They didn't. They still went that extra mile to mold a little bit more on the armor just to show those differences on those pieces, which I really like. You also got a more cloth bit down here under the upper torso piece where you had actual armor on this molded figure. The waist section is completely different. His entire waist armor has been replaced by just a utility belt over his undersuit. So rather than have the whole waist piece right here, he no longer has that on his mercenary gear. He still has his thigh plates, still has his shin plates. Boots are different. He got new boots. Still has the knife holster on his right boot. Still has his gauntlets, although they're painted different now. Still has his little back of his hand armor pads there. Brown gloves instead of black gloves. He's got an actual holster for his DC-17M now, which you can attach the blaster to, which I'm very excited about. His backpack, however, is still the same mold, just a different paint job to reflect the new armor set. Same with the helmet. The helmet is still the same mold. It's really just missing some of the paint decals that he had applied, like the 99 here on the forehead, but that is reflective in the media as well, so it's not like the helmet's inaccurate. And of course, last but not least, I haven't talked about his face sculpt yet. His face sculpt is pretty much the same as the other figure. Honestly, I didn't really think this needed to change at all because his face didn't really seem any major changes in either season 2 or season 3. So yeah, they didn't really need to do a new face sculpt for Wrecker either, much like they didn't with Hunter. Tech, it was welcome because having the goggles actually attached to the head with the eyes molded underneath was a fantastic update to Tech, which was necessary, I think. And a lot of other fans, I believe, thought so too, which is why so many fans talked about it when the first figure came out. Real quick, before we put all of his gear on him, let's go over articulation. Head is on a ball joint, neck is on a ball joint in that torso, fully articulated shoulders there. As you can see, those pads kind of get in the way a little bit. Now, they will rotate with the shoulder if you hold on to it because it's on a separate little ring in between the shoulder and the socket. No upper bicep, single jointed elbows, wrist joints, waist, hips, upper thigh, single jointed knees, ankle joints, and that is pretty much it for Wrecker's articulation. Now we'll go ahead and add his accessories and go over his accessories. First off, here is his new knife. So we've got a new knife with a brown hilt this time and a metallic blue blade, whereas the other time it was more of a dull grayish brown and a bright silver blade. I guess maybe this is to just show wear or age on the blade because the knives are very similar, and he seems to be pretty much using the same knife in the animation too. So I wonder if this was just a stylization choice by Hasbro just to differentiate, or if they're just trying to show age on the blade. Regardless, I like it. Honestly, I think this knife looks cooler than the first one anyway because I like that color on that blade more, just me personally. And that, of course, stores in his holster here on the side of his leg, just like it did on the other figure. Take his backpack here, which we already compared to the original, and that attaches just like on the original figure. You can even interchange them if you want. If you want to give him the old backpack paint job, you can give him the old backpack paint job all you want. If you have the other figure, that's something you can do. And that just plugs on right there onto his back. And then you can either have him hold his blaster or you can have his blaster holstered. There's a little peg right here. So you just line the blaster up, wrap that strap around, put it through that little trigger guard there, makes it a little bit easier and also makes it a little more secure. And then just feed that little strap into that peg hole on his armor, and there is his blaster holstered to his leg. I love that they added that feature to him. That is so nice to actually be able to put his blaster on the figure somewhere without him having to hold it in his hand. Usually I display my figures with their weapons in hand, and I will display him with his in hand, which is what I normally do. But having the option when it should have been there anyway is nice. And I like that they did it and they nailed it, in my opinion. And then last but not least, here is his helmet, which we also already compared. And yes, just like with the backpack, since the head sculpt is the same and the mold for the helmet is also the same, I mean, no reason for them to have changed, as I addressed earlier. You could also have the old helmet paint job on your Wrecker if you so choose, or just display him with the proper helmet that he comes with. Regardless, this fully suited look of Wrecker makes for a really cool look for Wrecker, and honestly, I dig it more than the Season 1 look. Now, real quick for comparison, here is Wrecker next to his Republic gear version, or just Clone Force 99 gear, whichever you want to call it, side by side, so you can see how they compare. I also realized after I stood them side by side, they actually gave him the larger DC-17M this time, which his is actually just a little bit larger than they did with the first version. So that's also a nice improvement from the first release, in my opinion. Here he is next to Mercenary Gear Hunter. So you can see them side by side. And here he is next to Mercenary Gear Tech. So you can see the two of them side by side. Overall, this is another fantastic release of Wrecker in the Black Series 6-inch scale, but once again, with that having said, we still do not have a Wrecker in 3 3/4 scale, and we still don't have a Tech in 3 3/4 scale. We still only have Hunter out of Clone Force 99 in 3 3/4 scale, which remains to be, in my opinion, a crime against Star Wars fans. Where are the 3 3/4 scale Bad Batch, Hasbro? Fans have been talking about it for years now. Where are they? They are long, almost criminally so, overdue. So please, 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 get these characters into the hands of our 3 3/4 fans too, because as 6-inch fans have been living our best life with these characters, and we've got not just one, but 2 full sets of these characters in 6-inch scale now, while 3 3/4 scale fans still don't even have one yet. They still only have Hunter. So please, Hasbro, please release the Bad Batch in 3 3/4 scale for my VC fans too. Pretty please, with a cherry on top. Stay tuned for more rebelscum.com video reviews. Make sure you like and subscribe and follow rebelscum.com on social media, as well as checking the main website daily for that daily Star Wars fan content, whether it be news, video reviews, or something else. Don't forget to make those travel plans for Rebel ScumCon 2024 at the Allen Convention Center in the Dallas area. Make sure you go to rebelscumconventionswithin.com. Once again, that's rebelscumconventions.com to book your Rebel ScumCon experience today. Check out our sister website, cooltoyreview.com, for all kinds of awesome non-Star Wars toy-related reviews, news, and more. And like and subscribe to the Cool Toy Review and Bay 12 YouTube channels for that non-Star Wars toy review content. If you're looking for some awesome Star Wars toys, collectibles, and other merch, go by Order 66 Toys, the world's official all-collectible Star Wars collectible store. They go live every Friday at 7 p.m. Central Time on the Order 66 Toys Facebook page, and they ship all around the world. Last but not least, don't forget to mark off your Hunter on your collectorsoracle.com profile if you haven't already, and don't forget to mark other figures that you would like to have in your list or do have in your list, because you can share those lists with friends, family, and social media alike in case you're trying to either show off your awesome collection or show off the stuff that you would like to have in your collection to friends, family, and social media, so that those special people in your life can keep an eye out on the things that you're looking for your collection. And the best part is, collectorsoracle.com is absolutely free to use. We'll see you guys later. We'll see you another time. May the Force be with all of you, you Rebel Scum.